Hey guys, this is Pobet, and I just hit 100 subscribers, so that's awesome. I didn't really take YouTube seriously up until a couple months ago, so my channel grew really slowly, but it's starting to pick up. So for my 100 subscriber special, I thought I'd do a device collection. This is every device I have. It's actually quite a lot, I think, in my opinion. So this is going to be from the date I acquired it. It's not going to be off of the device age or anything, just when I got it. So the first device was actually an HTC Hero. I don't have that anymore, it stopped working, so I threw it out. So, not a whole lot to say to that. My second device was an HTC Evo 4G LTE. I got this for 20 bucks. It no longer will turn on. The original battery that this came with does not work. It bulged, so I threw it out. Probably shouldn't have thrown it out. But actually, no, I recycled it. I took it to like Whole Foods or something that has a recycling program. So I actually have another battery from a different HTC Evo. And I used it last year just to turn it on for kicks and giggles, and it did work. Albeit couldn't really be used because on Android Gingerbread everything was saved to the SD card. So it was pretty useless, but you know. I just turned it on to see what happened, and it worked, but now the battery does not work. It's bulging just the slightest bit, and I'm guessing some safety mechanism kicked in, so it does not do anything anymore. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but not like this thing really has a use anyways. It was used and abused, and it's at the end of its life, so you can see just how beat up this thing is. The screen did not crack. This is the original screen, although it is pretty scratched up. As well as the camera. Let's go ahead and focus on the camera. As you can see, it's completely scratched up. I did record a couple videos with this. One of them was Mario. I think it was on my 3DS. It was the Virtual Console on my 3DS, and I recorded how to get to the warp zone, and it was really blurry because the camera was all scratched up. And as you can see, it's two-tone flash. I think it does at least, so that's pretty cool. Here's the speaker, and as you can see right here, you can just peel this back, and you can actually see the motherboard. Well, the lighting's kind of bad. Maybe if I can. No, I can't. Alright, well, I can't see it. And as you can see, this is cracked. Scratches all over the place. It's cracked here. If I can get to focus. There we go. You can see it's cracked there. Cracks all along here. These might have to be scratches. I'm not sure. As you can see, the paint's rubbed off. This is actually kind of cool. It has HDMI, so you can actually hook this up to a TV, and I believe it's 720p. The screen's 480p, but I think it steps up to 720p. I do actually have an adapter that did work. And it did work. I am running CM7 on this, CyanogenMod 7, which is Gingerbread. And I downloaded an app that allows you to stream to your TV. Not too useful, and HTC removed it in the next model, but it was cool to have. So that's basically it. Also wanted to point out there's actually screws, I believe, to keep this together, but this screw completely failed because it's go like that. So yeah, it's got a lot of use. Never was activated. I never activated this. I didn't actually have a line at the time. The next device was the HTC Evo 4G LTE, which is actually not the next phone. The next phone in HTC lineup for Sprint, these are all Sprint exclusives, was the HTC Evo 3D? Yeah, 3D. So I didn't actually get that. These are all hand-me-downs that I bought, so. This was actually my first phone. I actually had cellular service on this. As you can see, it's dead. I shorted it out by accident with a faulty charger. Same thing with my S4, which I will get to later. As you can see, I had a sticker here. This thing, there's a lot of stories, I'll tell you that. As you can see, you got that nice kickstand, which the HTC Evo 4G also has. So it's missing its little camera cover. I took this off to take the SD card out, and it popped off. So actually, I was taking the SD card out to put in my Galaxy S4, because it's going to use that phone, so that's kind of funny. So, you can see it's kind of scratched up. This right here is from when I dropped it down a really steep hill. It was like a mountain. I was in a mountainy area, and I was having a scooter ride, and I didn't have pockets, so I got a Ziploc bag, and then I just attached it to the scooter, and I was going down a hill, and then all of a sudden it evened out. So the force had to just push me down. I was actually forced into a crouching position, and the bottom of the Ziploc bag ripped, and it just flew. It just kept going. I saw in the corner of my eye it was going like that. So it took me about 20 minutes to find it. I didn't have anyone to call it, so I was with my friend. We were trying to find it. I was about to give up and say screw it, and I actually saw this back cover, and then 5 feet away from it I saw this. I'm like, oh, thank God. So it worked. No, it was, the screen didn't crack, but this bent, and I couldn't bend it back. And this right here is not part of it. That's just from me dropping it later. So I was just amazed that this thing was still in one piece. I thought it was done for. I thought it just flew off the side of the road and never to be seen again. So I was pretty happy when I found it. So definitely good job on HTC for making such a durable device. And it did not have a case on either. I couldn't put the case in with the I couldn't put it in the Ziploc bag with the case because there's a rubber case, so it just wouldn't go in there. So I took the case off, which was probably a bad idea. But yeah, this thing served me well. I used it for 2 years, and it died an unfortunate death by being electrocuted. So that's all I gotta say. It did record a lot of my YouTube videos. It has a really nice camera. Actually, really nice camera. I actually have another one lying around that I do use to. My sister uses to record videos, so. Check her out. She's the Great Big Westie, I believe, on YouTube. I'll link her in the description as long as I'm mentioning her. One last thing, the LED lights went out on this. Not sure why, but I think this was kind of a common issue. The phone was about 2 years old when it stopped working, so it didn't really bother me because I was getting a new device anyways. That was like 4 minutes of ranting about that phone, so let's get to the next one. Alright, so the next device is my Nook HD. You can see it's booting Lineage OS. It's so screwed up right now. The installation, I installed it over KitKat, I dirty flashed it, and the data is corrupted, so it thinks it's in setup mode right now, so the home button and the recent tab button does not work, as well as like all the other features, so it's kind of useless till I can fix that. Can't get into recovery, so that's kind of screwed. I can't do anything about it, so I think I'll have to just get a bootable flash card or SD card and put a recovery on it and then just reset it. So, oh, my phone's lagging. So as you can see, it's running 7.1.2, which I can't show you right now. Hang on, let me cut the video. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about. Like, you can't swipe down, click the home button, nothing happens, recents, nothing happens. So, it's just kind of screwed up. But as you can see, we are running Android 7.1.2, so that's kind of cool. So, I can't shut it down because something's corrupt about the ROM. So as you can see, these are the apps I had installed. KitKat, they do work, but a lot of the features are greatly limited because it thinks it's in setup mode. So, that's that. I'll have to figure out how to turn this off because I figured it out at one point. Alright, next I got this, let's turn this back on. Got this Samsung Galaxy Tab 4 points, no, it's a Tab 4 7.0. It's pretty cheaply made. This bezel actually isn't even right here. Let's see if I can focus. It's flat with the display. It's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be slightly above it. It's kind of like the Galaxy S5 design. As you can see, it's a little over it. So if I like put my fingernail, as you can see, it gets caught on it. And if I go over here, it doesn't get caught on it. So it just goes right over. Never was really happy with it. I was gifted it. I said I didn't want it, but I got it still. I did use this for a little while. The camera's kind of I think it can do 720p. It does not have a great GPU, so you can't play games on it. Although it's a good e-reader, and you could watch YouTube videos at 720p. It's a 720p panel. Oh, and as an added bonus, it did have an SD card slot. It has an SD card in it. Oh, ooh. I guess we'll actually take that out. It's cool. Let's see, how big is it? It is 16 gigs. Awesome. Needed one. And it actually has an IR blaster, which is kind of interesting. So that's pretty nice. It does work. It's running Android KitKat, which is what it shipped with, and it never got anything above that. They promised Lollipop, but that was 3 years ago, I believe, and it still has not got Lollipop. And there are no ROMs for it, so yeah. It just rooted, and it does have Xposed installed to it, so there's that. But yeah, not much to say about it. It worked for what it was, but it wasn't too fancy. Next, I got the Nexus 7 2012. I could not afford the 2013 at the time, so I got this for $60 on eBay, which was a ripoff, but I didn't know that at the time. The reason the screen is cracked is basically the same reason as my Nook. Didn't learn the first time. Had my laptop, which is right here, in the same backpack. Put the backpack down. Laptop hit it in the corner right here, and it cracked, which broke the digitizer, so it only works right here. So everything else works on it. This is running Android 7.1.2 Nougat, as you could tell by the lock screen. It has a little stuff on it. So I haven't really had a use for it ever since it cracked, and it's just so slow. So I just kind of put it to the side. There's not really much storage to it. I liked it a lot, but once it cracked, I just didn't have a use for it. I did connect it to a PS3 controller for a while to use it, until I got another tablet, which was the Nexus 7 2013. And here, I got this Galaxy S4 from my uncle. So if he's watching, thanks. I loved it. This is actually has a replaced board. I replaced it. I got it for $13 on eBay. It's $20 plus shipping. Well, with shipping is $20. That's what I meant to say. I cracked the screen because it was raining outside, so I ran to the car. It slipped out of my hand, and it cracked, which I was pretty disappointed. The screen still works. The motherboard I do have in here has a draw, where basically it's always draining power. So even if it's completely off, just draining power from the battery, and within 3 days it's dead. So that's the reason I don't actually have the battery in there. You've seen it in a couple of videos, so I don't really see a need to power it up. But I love this phone so much. It was probably Samsung's worst phone that they ever made. It overheats, the battery life was horrible. I got about 2 hours with the screen off on LTE, which, that might have been a motherboard issue. It's all plastic build. I liked it, but everyone else complained about it. The reason this thing died is I plugged it into a faulty charger, just like the HTC, and I noticed that it was acting a little funny. Said, well, it thought that the battery was dead when it's fully charged. I said, oh, let's just plug it in, and that killed it. It was already dying because I plugged it in, but plugging it again just murdered it, so rip that one. So I still have that motherboard lying around, but this is a new motherboard. It is fully functional, minus the battery draining, so I liked it enough to actually buy a new motherboard. So the motherboard is locked sprint, and I do believe it has a bad ESN, but I'm never going to use this anyways, I don't think. So yeah, this was my first real device, I would say, that was kind of quality. Not to say the HTC was bad, just at the time it was already 2 years old, so I believe he was 2 years old. Yeah, it was 2 years old. Yeah, he was 2 years old, so the Galaxy S5 was already out, which is what I'm recording with right now. So I was a little disappointed that I got the HTC Evo, but, you know, for the first device, it was pretty good. But I like this so much more. It is much faster than the Evo that I have. So that's why I really liked it. It also has 1080p as my first device to have a 1080p display. So that was kind of cool to have. So that's really it for the Galaxy S4. Not much to say. It means a lot to me just because it's like the first really nice device. And my uncle gave it to me, so that was really nice of him. Here we have the Nexus 7 2013. The gyroscope doesn't work for some reason. So that's the only thing that's wrong with it. As you can see, it's been loved right here. If I can focus on it. There we go. It's missing part of the bezel. It's just because I always was picking at it. And also, this is, I believe it's cracked right here. The battery, the little panel in the back. It also cracked right here when I took it. I've taken this thing apart many times to try to fix the gyroscope. It's not the actual gyroscope that's broken, it's just the ribbon cable keeps disconnecting from the motherboard. So, pretty annoying. It's also the ribbon cable that controls the touchscreen. So, sometimes the touchscreen goes out and I'll have to put it back. As you can see, it's a little scuffed up, but not too bad. I believe I got this for $150 on eBay. It was in the original box, it was never opened, so I hopped on it and got it. Unfortunately, it's not in great condition anymore. It still works perfectly fine, minus the gyroscope not being funky, as you can see. I think I used this for about a year and a half before I got a different device to replace it, because it kept boot looping, so it was just kind of useless. Luckily, I did fix the issue, which I did post a video on how to fix it, but at that point, I already have a new device, so that's much faster than it, so I didn't really need it. So, that's that. Doesn't really have any stories behind it. I just used it to watch videos. Which is what I'm recording with. I don't actually have. Whoops! Don't fall. I don't have any. Stop falling. Any other devices to record this with? Actually, I could use my Nexus 7, but I'm just too lazy. So I bought this for $20 off a family member. At the time, the charging port did not work, and it was just. There's a couple other problems I can't remember at the top of my head. But there's a lot of problems with it, which all kind of fixed themselves, which is kind of funny. I didn't do anything to the phone, and it just started working after I handed over the money. I bought the phone, I plugged it in to see if it would work, and it started working. So that was kind of funny. It's been working for 9 months now, so I guess it just decided to like me. I don't know. So yeah, I bought it for $20, which is pretty good deal. It's locked to Sprint, of course, as all my devices are. But maybe when my contract is up, it might let me unlock it. It's actually my main device right now. I activated it on Sprint. I'm loving it right now. It's so nice. No lockups. Battery life is so much better. It's nice to be able to charge it without waiting 8 hours, which is what this thing was getting with wireless charging. Actually, no, it's got a little bit better. I think it got like 4 hours, so half that, but charging it with the cable took 8 hours, so that was really bad. Plus it has a replaceable battery and a micro SD card slot. This thing does not have a micro SD card slot. S5 does, every single Samsung device below this has it, and every device above it has it. So they got cheated of that. It also doesn't have water resistance, which the Galaxy S5 does, and so does the Galaxy S6, and S7 and S8, so this thing got cheated out of a lot of features. So that's that. And the last device is the HP ProBook 650B that's been sitting in the background so patiently for the entire video. Let's just pull this up. And here it is. I got this 2 years ago, I believe. I have edited almost every single video on this machine. This video, it's going to probably take 2 hours to render, and I'm not exaggerating with that. A 15-minute video at 60 FPS takes about an hour, and I believe we're rolling, I think we're almost at the 30-minute mark. We might have actually already passed it. I can't tell because my phone overheated, so it restarted the video, but I think we're there, so it'll be a little while to render it, but this has been a great machine. It's very quiet. Battery is starting to go, unfortunately, but the battery says it's from 2011, so I'm amazed that it's lasted as long as it has. This is a Core i5 520M. I believe that is either it's the first or second generation of the i5. So it's not the greatest spec, but it does schoolwork just fine. Can render videos, takes a long time. It can play Counter-Strike at 20 FPS in the lowest settings, at the lowest resolution. I have taken it to some friend's house and done that. Not a great experience, especially when they have a decent machine. I just get creamed, but it can do that. It's also the machine I've recorded a whole lot of videos on, like how to root your Asus ZenWatch, which I noticed that it pegged it at like 100% CPU, but you know, it did it. So this thing has seen quite a bit of abuse. I bought this on Groupon for $200, which I could have saved 50 bucks if I bought it on eBay, but whatever. Even 4 gigabytes of RAM, I upgraded to 8 gigabytes of RAM. This is actually not the original keyboard, it's a cheap Chinese ripoff of a keyboard that Groupon installed. That's why it's missing that. Just the keys are really cheap, so I took it off to clean it. I did get some water on it, so I just wanted to make sure that it was okay. It's supposed to be water resistant, but I'm seriously doubting that, just taking it apart. So I took the key off. Whoops. Crashed the driver. Funny. So I took the key off, and it just snapped. So I still have the key somewhere, but that's the only key that's missing. It's the F2 key. You can still press it, so it still works. And the replacement keyboards are fairly cheap. It's just I don't really find a need. Yeah, I rarely need to use the F2 key, and when I do, it still works if you press it. So yeah. What else? This has a pretty decent matted display, I believe. This might be original. Here, I got to take the dog, but this is supposed to be metal, I believe, but this is plastic, and it scratched really easily. So I think this is not original. It's supposed to come with a webcam, but it has no webcam. Just move this up. The light will light up, but it's just a dud. Here, maybe I can zoom in and show you. Yeah, you can see that there's a little dot for where the camera should be, but it's just a dud. The light will come on, but no video comes up, so kind of interesting. Alright, so I decided to change the order a little bit. I put the Galaxy S6 last, mostly because I'm recording with CyanogenMod, and I can only record at 30 FPS, which will knock off the entire audio sync, so don't really want to screw up that. Also, as you can see, the exposure is horrible on it, and the focus is locked, so you can't like go like this, so it just goes out of focus. Anyways, I never really liked this phone. It wasn't actually my first choice. My first choice was the Galaxy S5, which I'm recording with right now. One I got had a problem with the modem, so I couldn't send text messages, so I sent that back. And after about 2 months of waiting, the refund finally got through, and then I got the LG G4. Little did I know, the bootloader could not be unlocked, so I was pretty upset about that. I tried doing a software update, and it bricked, so that was cool. So took it to Sprint, and the other phone they had was the Galaxy S6 for 1 cent with a 2-year contract, plus like $36 to activate it, so it wasn't really 1 cent. So got this. On 5.1.1, it was pretty good. The battery life was horrible, but I didn't really care. But then I got 6.0, and they basically made it so the bootloader denied installing 5.1.1. So I was stuck on 6.0, which sucked. It like scrolling through Reddit, you would just freeze, and then I would take 15 seconds to resume, and the system time would get offset really quickly because of that. The camera would not focus, it just rattles a lot. The volume buttons were really mushy. Power button didn't work a lot of the time, and it's really clicky for some reason. Home button doesn't work, and the charging port is out. And guess what? They're all related to the same issue, I'm pretty sure. Brought to U-Break iFix because I dropped this. I was closing a car door, and it just slid out of my hand, went face first onto the concrete, so it killed 3 birds with 1 stone. It killed the digitizer, the glass, and the AMOLED, so it was completely useless. I actually did use a screen mirroring tool for a while, just to use it, and that got old pretty quickly, especially since the bandwidth sucked, so it was really laggy, and on some screens it would just freeze up because there's too much detail. So, and I also used my Pebble to send and receive text messages, which was not great because the only way you can text messages on the Pebble is your voice recognition, and it was just horrible. And sometimes it just wouldn't pick it up, no matter how clear you were. So I broke down and brought it to U-Break iFix, which I should not have done. For to do it again, I would take it somewhere else, like Samsung maybe, or better yet, I would just get a new Galaxy S6. They go for about $250 locked to Sprint on Amazon, and even cheaper on eBay. So yeah, I wasn't thinking at the time, so now I get to live with the consequences. Or I would have got the Galaxy S5, which is really I really wanted, but I wasn't thinking once again. So yeah, he screwed up basically everything. I don't know if it was intentional, I doubt it, but maybe he wanted me to come back. So charged me $300, which is ridiculous, but whatever. So I think he replaced the charging port. I think he tore the ribbon cable that connects the capacitive buttons to the charging port when he took off the display, which is probably why he had to replace it, because I think that's the reason the home button and the charging port which just didn't work. I think he got a really cheap part. He also replaced the battery, so the battery life was even worse than it was before. I think he punctured it when he was trying to take off the back glass, which is a pain to do. I tried taking it off. I'm not even sure if he used the right adhesive because I cannot get the glass panel off. So, yeah. I charged it 100%, and when I got it back, it was at 0, so I know he couldn't do that in an hour, so yeah. So, wouldn't recommend UberGuyFix in my experience. It could have been just that one guy, but it wasn't a great experience, so. Phone was fully functional, and yes, it was my fault for dropping it, and yeah, it was my fault for not having a case on it. I thought it was a little more durable than that, but it wasn't. Also, you probably can't tell because the horrible lighting, but there actually are little to no scratches anywhere on the body of the phone. That's because it landed directly on the glass, so it didn't land on the side or anything like that, face first. So that was just really lucky. My train of thought was when I picked it up, hopefully it's not cracked. I picked it up, oh, it's cracked, whatever, it'll probably still work. Turned it on, yeah, and the digitizer didn't work. I said, oh well, I can just use an OTG mouse. And then soon after, the AMOLED started failing, so yeah, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse, so that really sucked. So yeah, didn't have a great experience with this phone, but really it was just my fault for not taking proper care of it. So yeah. I really did like the camera though. The camera was amazing on this phone. It shot amazing pictures. The video recording was pretty good too. Although the Galaxy S5 is pretty good when using TouchWiz. And it has a really nice design, I have to admit. It feels really nice in your hand with the glass back. It also feels really fragile like that. It's pretty thin, which I guess it's okay, but you're giving up a lot of things like a thicker battery, durability, and all that stuff. But you know what, at this point, cell phones aren't supposed to be durable. They're not like a tool anymore. They're like a luxury, so they're not meant to last. They want you to buy a new one, so yeah. Overall, it was an okay device. I did like the fast charging feature, but that didn't work when the charging port went out. So, yeah, I'm rambling. I don't have much more to say. It's an okay device. I like the design, but the software really could have used some work on Samsung's part. So, they're still pushing TouchWiz, though. They're not doing like what HTC's doing. They're slowly cutting back on the sense. What is it? Edit. So, the only thing that I have to complain about this phone is that the software really could have some work on it. I hated TouchWiz. They should do what HTC's doing and back up on all the modifications like they did with Sense. But maybe it's working for them, I don't know. So, the only reason I really hated this phone is because I could not install CyanogenMod because of the Exynos processor. If I could, I probably would have no complaints, even if like half the features didn't work, because I just hate TouchWiz that much. So yeah, I'm rambling, so I'm just going to go ahead and end the video here. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you next weekend. And once again, thank you for 100 subscribers. It's awesome. So just a quick search on Amazon. As you can see, it's $240. Locked to Sprint, of course, for a Galaxy S6. 64GB. This is a 32GB model. So I would gain 32 gigabytes. It would have been cheaper, and I just regret. I read it a lot. Also, HP ProBook, go away. HP ProBook 650B. As you can see, it's supposed to have metal, but it's plastic. And I believe it says somewhere, yeah, like this guy says that he was disappointed to discover there was not a built-in webcam. I saw another advertisement that said that there was no webcam at all. This one's not available for some reason, but this is the one I bought. This is the ad I bought from 2 years ago. I believe they have an updated one. I'm gonna go ahead and search it. Maybe we can do HP ProBook 650B. Yeah, here it is. This one is the Core i3 edition, but let's click on this if we can. My internet's being very slow. And while we do that, I'm just gonna go on eBay real quick and see how much a Loftus 6 is, because the 6 Sprint, I bet you it's cheaper. Yeah, 170, 125. I mean, you're not guaranteed to actually get the phone. I'm sure a lot of them are scams, but you know, just to give you a baseline. And for some reason, it just sprung me back here. So, anyways, hope you guys actually enjoyed the video. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and this is the actual end of the video. I know I said it earlier, but see ya.